In my previous life as a privileged heiress, I never anticipated the cruelest betrayal would come from family and friends. As I lay dying, I prayed to heaven, willing to forfeit eternal reincarnation for vengeance. When I opened my eyes again, I'd regressed to age 12. Today marks my 12th birthday. Mother has invited every prominent family in Riverton to celebrate, transforming our normally serene estate with elaborate decorations. Servants bustle about preparing for tonight's gala as I sit before the vanity in my princess gown. Still disoriented. Moments ago, I'd perished in a lightless basement. Now I find myself staring at my childhood bedroom. Could my dying prayer have been answered? Have I truly been granted this second chance? The door creaks open. Emma, darling, comes a melodic voice. Cook says you've skipped lunch. Is something troubling you? I turn to see my mother, resplendent in couture. Her beauty softened by maternal concern, enter the room. For years after her death, I'd dreamt of this face. Countless regrets about neglecting her health and companionship haunted my previous life. Mom. I fling myself into her arms, breathing in her jasmine perfume as tears prick my eyes. Her manicured hand strokes my hair. What's this? Sweetheart? Just a nightmare. I murmur against her silk blouse. I'll be fine. Indeed. The tragedies haven't yet unfolded. But this time, I'll reclaim everything rightfully mine. As Emma, sole heiress to the Wilson family's corporate empire, my future should shine bright. Yet none knew my supposedly devoted father Robert had fathered an illegitimate son merely 5 months my junior. My parents' business marriage alliance between two old money families seemed inevitable. Grandfather Ben co-founded the company. His substantial shares crucial even after grandfather George became majority shareholder. What better way to secure interests than merging their only children, childhood sweethearts no less. Unknown to me previously, Robert had loved a scholarship student before marriage, some cliché meet-cute involving spilled champagne at a gala. Their star-crossed romance might have been admirable, were I not the collateral damage. When grandfather George threatened disinheritance, Robert abandoned his lover to wed mother. For decades, I believed their picture-perfect marriage and lifelong friendships until betrayal left me dying alone. Tonight's birthday gala marks the first turning point. Robert arrives 10 minutes before the event, offering flimsy excuses about work. I suppress a scoff at his Oscar-worthy performance. As the party commences, we play the ideal family for society's elite. Among the guests, childhood friend Lily pulls me aside. Look, she whispers, gesturing toward a porcelain-skinned boy flanked by bodyguards. Ethan actually came. The Howard financial dynasty's sole heir rarely appears publicly due to congenital health issues. He's quite handsome. I echo my past self. Lily fidgets. Actually, coldness seeps into my veins as I coax her with feigned curiosity. This time, I'll rewrite every tragedy. Oh my gosh. I want to talk to him but I'm kinda shy. Emma, you're the best. Could you give this cake to Ethan for me? Just like my previous life. How could I have been so stupid back then? Actually believing her shyness and delivering that peanut-laced cake to Ethan? The 12-year-old me froze when Ethan started wheezing with hives after 2 bites. My dear half-brother Ryan conveniently saved the day with allergy meds he just happened to carry. The Howards showered him with gratitude while I swallowed the truth, watching Lily's pleading eyes. Poor fragile Lily with her declining maternal family and womanizing father, how could I expose her? Later, she tearfully apologized with gifts I naively accepted. How pathetically trusting I'd been. Only during my exile abroad did I question, did Lily truly not know about Ethan's peanut allergy? The Adams and Howards used to be close friends. After all, taking the cake from Lily now, I deliberately took a bite. We should get Ethan a fresh one. This frosting's melting. Delicious. I strolled toward the dessert table where gossipy Daisy Dang lingered. Raising my voice, I chirped. If you like Ethan, you should approach him yourself. He'd never reject someone as cute as you. Daisy's eyebrows shot up. But isn't Ethan allergic to peanuts? These cakes all have peanut butter. She shot Lily a suspicious glance. Crocodile tears welled in Lily's eyes. I didn't know. I'm so clumsy. As Daisy softened, I spotted a miniature suit-clad figure glowering nearby Ryan. Our father's favorite love child. This time, without playing hero. How would this illegitimate brat worm his way into Ethan's circle? Approaching pale but porcelain doll like Ethan. I beamed. Hi. I'm Emma. What's your name? Ethan Howard. His crystal eyes mirrored my feigned innocence perfectly. Emma, such a peaceful name. His lips curved slightly as we chatted about trivialities. By the time the Howards came to retrieve him, I'd already secured his contact info. Father actually addressed me post-gala. You and Ethan seemed close. Just being friendly. I shrugged with childish oblivion. His interest faded instantly. I've got work. The study door clicked shut. Off to video call his overseas mistress Sophia and their precious genius love child Ryan. No doubt. But not this time. This lifetime. I'd be the one controlling the narrative. Let's see how long Ryan's scheming lasts without Ethan's patronage. Mom? Worried I might be holding on to resentment. Simply said. Your father is busy with work. You know how it is. I nodded obediently. But inside I was cursing Robert silently. Busy enough to visit his mistress in the States every year. To miss every parent-teacher conference and school event. Tossing me a few words like charity whenever he remembered my existence. My past self had been so desperate for Robert's approval. Clinging to childish hopes despite his constant neglect. Now I understood, relationships aren't built on blood alone. But daily investment. When someone claims they're too busy for you year after year, they're just not interested. I'd considered warning Mom earlier. But she'd either think I'd lost my mind or be powerless against the Wilson family empire. Grandpa Ben's old-fashioned mindset would pressure her to keep up appearances. After all, everyone in our circle has illegitimate children. Divorcing Robert would mean mutual destruction for both families. Neither George nor Robert could be easily outmaneuvered. After that chaotic day, I stared at Lily's "I'm really sorry" text without opening it. Only strategic patience kept me from blocking her immediately. Surprisingly, Ethan's friend request popped up in my notifications. We exchanged pleasantries, his earnestness shone through even in simple greetings about his quick response time, and I drifted off mid-conversation. I badgered Mom and Grandpa Ben into bi-annual checkups and even hired a private physician through shameless begging. This time, Mom's health wouldn't deteriorate like before. At George's mansion that weekend, the old man beamed while announcing my birthday gift, a prime parcel of land. I gazed up adoringly, chirping, "I love you most. Grandpa. Promise you'll live to 100. His laughter echoed as the butler joined the charade. Outsiders saw George's indulgence as affection. But I knew better. His "just marry well and be happy" mantra contrasted sharply with the intensive business tutors Ryan received. Was I less deserving because I'm a girl? This pampering felt more appropriate for a prized poodle than a human being. Ethan became my unexpected confidant. His guileless nature, delighted by candy, agonizing over reciprocal gifts, made friendship effortless. I casually mentioned Robert's frequent business trips to America, planting seeds for future use. Lily received tepid responses. Her complaints about my slow replies met with half-hearted apologies. She'd never abandon our connection, not with Ryan in the picture. Academically, I let my genius emerge gradually, securing top rankings without drawing excessive attention. Private lessons with retired executives, future industry leaders, I knew, filled my afternoons. Grandpa Ben started noticing my natural business acumen during weekly visits. High school brought the biggest surprise, Ethan standing in the auditorium. Sunlight gilding his tousled hair. "Thought you were studying abroad." I blurted out. Changed my mind. He shrugged. His school uniform crisp against his lean frame. Plenty of time for that in college. As teachers summoned me for the opening speech, I gave his shoulder a playful shove. Guess we're stuck together longer. His lingering smile warmed me more than the stage lights ever could. Today was the opening ceremony. With both my family background and academic achievements, I was undoubtedly the freshman representative. While delivering my speech on stage, I couldn't help but sneer internally at the strikingly handsome man sitting in the front row who looked nothing like a typical high school student. Ryan Wilson. Nice to formally meet you for the first time. In our previous life, Ryan had been privately tutored since childhood. He entered this prestigious academy as the top-scoring freshman representative. His exceptional looks and outstanding grades quickly earned him hordes of admirers. Ryan knew exactly how to leverage his advantages, cultivating widespread popularity that later paved the way for 2 years of relentless bullying against me. During our first homeroom meeting after the ceremony, I was appointed class president due to my representative speech, a position Ryan had held in our past life. His face darkened predictably at the teacher's announcement, though he quickly masked it. The oppressive atmosphere around him was palpable. Remembering how he'd abused his authority last time, I smirked. Now that I'd taken both the representative glory and class presidency he coveted, I wondered how his reputation-obsessed psyche was handling this. Unsurprisingly, Lily ended up in my class. During PE, she rushed to cling to my arm with saccharine sweetness. "Emma, you seem so popular. Will you make lots of new friends? But I only want to be your one true friend." Last lifetime, her constant brainwashing had actually convinced me to distance myself from classmates, leaving Lily as my sole companion, her perfect isolation tactic. "You should socialize more too, Lily. Everyone's really nice," I replied warmly while greeting passing students. Her face momentarily twisted with jealousy before forcing a smile. "But we've been friends for so many." Ryan approached unexpectedly, nodding at me. "Hello." Lily pretended not to recognize him while blushing furiously. His charming smile didn't falter. "What's next for you, Emma?" Lily shot me a venomous glare. While Ryan's looks were undeniably captivating, I remained immune across lifetimes. Spotting Ethan nearby, I excused myself without hesitation. Let the scheming duo plot together, I'd rather not endure their antics. As predicted, the school forum soon featured a trending post detailing how the most beautiful top student was obsessively pursuing the heartthrob, thinly veiling references to Ryan and me. Last time, Ryan had accidentally leaked my old love letters and gifts, turning his fan club against me. No amount of denial helped. Why protest if innocent? His popularity made accusations credible. Only years later did I discover he was my half-brother. With Lily constantly spreading covert rumors, my social isolation had blinded me to their machinations. Now, being academically superior, few would believe such tales. Still, these rats needed exterminating. I anonymously leaked Ryan's illegitimate status. Nothing distracts from scandal like a bigger scandal. In this elite circle where heirs loathed threats to their inheritance, the effect was instantaneous. Whispers erupted when Ryan checked his phone, his perfect facade cracking as he glared my way. Lily anxiously tried cornering me after school, but I sped off in the family car. This was merely the appetizer. "Dear brother," home revealed, mother red-eyed on the sofa while father stood stiffly. My leaked rumor had reached them swiftly. "Those forum lies about Ryan being my son are absurd," father claimed, voice trembling. Mother turned away, recognizing his guilt. "I don't believe it either. Which is why I took Ryan's hair for DNA testing. Let's end these rumors." My earnest proposal made father sweat. "No need for dramatics," he begged mother with his eyes. But she remained stone-faced. Under my insistence, he fled, the coward still unprepared to acknowledge his bastard son. I dragged mom into the bedroom. She seemed disoriented, struggling to process everything. In my previous life, by the time she discovered Ryan's true identity, I'd already been manipulated into drug addiction. Ryan had solidified his position as heir. Grandpa Ben had passed, and mom's health had deteriorated until she died prematurely. This time, I chose to tell her the truth early. Better a sharp pain than endless suffering. Years of careful conditioning through our close bond would soften the blow. Is this true?" Her hopeful gaze betrayed she already knew the answer. Clinging to denial, "I've verified everything." I embraced her gently, feeling silent tears soak through my shirt. Gradually, my logical arguments prevailed. Despite her romantic nature, Mom's education kicked in. She'd only crumbled last time due to my addiction and Ben's death. I convinced her to publicly acknowledge Ryan's illegitimate status. Keep Ryan close where we can control him. This way, his bastard status becomes undeniable and his school reputation unsalvageable. After lengthy consideration, she agreed. Robert turned crimson when hearing the news, glaring at me like I was his mortal enemy. What's your game? Trying to destroy this family? I smirked. You made this mess. We all know he's your son. His hand twitched to strike me when Mom snapped. Touch her and I'll end you. Watching him seethe helplessly gave me vicious satisfaction. You'll regret this. He stormed out after kicking a chair. Pathetic tantrum. I knew he'd run to Grandpa George, little did he realize I had been on speed dial. The elderly man's grave voice came through the phone. Emma, explain your plan. After detailing my strategy to legitimize Ryan while maintaining control, Ben agreed to intervene. His remaining influence overpowered George's objections. Ryan arrived wearing his trademark serpent's smile. Hello, Mother. Emma. Don't you dare call me that. Mom lounged casually on the sofa, ignoring Robert's furious glares. When Ryan's eyes welled up dramatically, Robert exploded. He's my flesh and blood. Show respect. Mom wordlessly retreated upstairs, me following. Let the devoted father bond with his bastard. We blasted Ryan's illegitimacy across social media. Back at school, my forum posts fueled the fire. Whispers followed him everywhere. Fewer classmates would speak to him daily, his face growing stormier. Lily kept shooting me conflicted looks but stayed silent. Ethan cornered me privately later. Emma, if you need to cry, poor guy still thought I worshipped my father. I forced a brave smile. It's nothing. I just can't believe the father I've admired since childhood would, I sniffled, clutching Ethan's sleeve. I feel like I don't have a father anymore. Ethan immediately pulled me into a protective embrace, which I didn't resist. Breathing in the clean scent of his detergent, I silently apologized to him. A man's pity, when skillfully manipulated, could become my greatest weapon. But I hadn't expected Ryan to start panicking after just the first strike. That afternoon, delayed by school matters, I found our family car missing from the pickup zone. As I stood confused, Lily materialized beside me. Emma, your ride's late too? My driver's unavailable. Let's walk home together. Noting her shifty eyes, I agreed out of curiosity. The ambush came in a narrow alley, leering gang members blocking our path. Their leader smirked. Look what we caught. Boys. This explained everything. In my previous life, fabricated nude photos circulated online had destroyed me despite being proven fake. The harassment escalated from dead rats in my locker to full-blown bullying when Robert refused to intervene. My hospitalized mother's feeble protests changed nothing. Each cruelty stacked until I fell into the abyss. Pretty thing. Come play with us. The leader licked his lips. Had exposing Ryan's true nature forced them to skip subtlety this time? Emma. What do we do? Lily's panicked voice didn't match the iron grip trying to trip me. But I'd anticipated this. Planting my feet firmly, meeting her shocked gaze, I smiled coldly before shoving her toward the gang. Hold them off. I'll get help. The thugs hesitated, clearly unprepared for identical-looking targets. Their employer must have only provided names. Perfect. Let them mistake Lily for me. Her screams followed me down the alley. You bitch. Come back. Until I reached the main street and dialed 911. Though tempted to let karma play out, I couldn't condone sexual assault. Police arrived swiftly. At the station, I gave a detailed statement while sniffling. Lily was processed nearby. My parents rushed in later. Robert's face purpling with rage. What trouble have you caused now? He bellowed. Screwing around with gangsters instead of studying? Nearby officers stared as my father kept ranting about embarrassment. Mom snapped first, shocking everyone with her roar, "Shut your damn mouth." My eyes burned. This fierce woman would always defend me. Didn't you hear the police? Your daughter was almost assaulted. I said icily. If you can't comprehend basic English, go retake elementary school. How dare you speak to me like this? It might have been the first time I'd addressed Robert with such icy defiance. He froze momentarily before anger sparked in his eyes at the challenge. I kept calmly patting Mom's back, watching him dispassionately. When his phone rang, Robert glanced at the screen and paled before storming out to take the call. He returned with forced cheer, tension tightening his smile. Emma, these minor injuries aren't worth ruining your reputation over. Why not let this go? I knew exactly who'd called his precious Ryan. Minor? My smile didn't reach my eyes. I'm the victim here, not the perpetrator. And my friend got hurt too. We're pressing charges. Mom unexpectedly squared her shoulders. You think we'll let Emma's assault get swept under the rug? Who do you think you are? Robert? You'll regret this. He spat, trembling with rage before storming off. At my nod, Mom alerted Ben. My grandfather moved swiftly, leveraging connections to ensure police handled the case without Wilson family interference. Ryan wasn't foolish enough to dirty his own hands. He'd have used Lily as proxy. While taking down Ryan would require patience, removing his pawn Lily came first. Memories flooded back. Lily's betrayal last life. The best friend who'd introduced me to drugs after school bullying. Then gloated over stealing Ryan. We came from similar families. Why did you get everything? Her warped perception twisted years of my support into pity. This time, I leaked our mugging incident anonymously on campus forums. When friends inquired, I casually mentioned Lily being present. Faking illness bought time as rumors spread. The unexpected visitor was Ethan, dressed in tailored navy suit accentuating his athletic frame. The Howard air radiated concern. Are you all right? I heard about the attack. I'd artfully applied pale powder, letting my robe slip slightly. Those thugs didn't touch me, I murmured with fragile bravado. His hand found my shoulder, earnest gaze piercing. My family could expedite the investigation. I pressed fingers to his lips. The police will handle it. Every crumb of his sympathy would soon transform into fury against whoever hurt me. Let the trap spring. After my repeated reassurances, he could only look at me helplessly. All right. But you need to get proper rest. I spent the next few days lounging comfortably at home, occasionally texting classmates about my lingering fears. Lily's calls and messages kept flooding in. First I declined them, then blocked her entirely. When she showed up at our estate, I instructed the butler to turn her away. True to expectations, the police soon notified us they'd identified the gang member's instigator. Given that Lily's philandering father rarely acknowledged her existence within the Addams family hierarchy, I doubted her ability to mobilize family resources for such petty thuggery. With the Howard family applying pressure and the gang members having no loyalty, they quickly named Lily as their paymaster. By the time this news reached me, I'd already returned to campus. My eyes welled up as I lowered my head during lunch. I never thought she'd do this. I really believed we were friends. Friends immediately rallied around me, their indignation fueling increasingly harsh critiques of Lily's character. I promptly shared the culprit exposed update on the school forum. Though I knew Lily's juvenile status would likely spare her jail time, maybe just probation at most, the court of public opinion would deliver its own verdict. Even if the Addams family's lawyers kept her out of juvenile detention, her reputation lay in tatters. Let her taste the social ostracism she'd once dished out. Poetic justice served cold. That evening, the Addams family arrived at our doorstep due to their ongoing collaboration with the Howards. Mrs. Addams, a waifish woman, sniffled into her handkerchief. This must be some misunderstanding. Our Lily and your Emma have always been so close. Before Robert could speak, Mother cut in sharply. Are you implying we conspired with law enforcement to frame your daughter? Mr. Addams shot Lily an irritated glance. The child aired. What's your solution? Overseas boarding school. Mother stated. Our prior agreement evident. Or we pursue full legal consequences. When Robert opened his mouth to object, I discreetly stomped on his foot. His pained grimace silenced further protest. I studied Lily's resentful glare with genuine puzzlement. If my existence tormented her so, shouldn't exile bring relief? Later, while passing Ryan's slightly ajar bedroom door, I smiled. He'd heard everything he needed to. Since my rebirth, I'd retained a private investigator to monitor Sophia. This week's report contained gold photos of Sophia cozying up to a handsome hustler at her apartment. Turns out, after her son left for boarding school, she'd filled her lonely nights bar hopping. Her new boy toy, a college dropout turned professional gold digger, clearly smelled easy money. How ironic, Robert's receding hairline and beer gut never stood a chance against this gigolo. But wait. Robert rarely traveled abroad during his early marriage. What if I collected Ryan's hairbrush for DNA testing, printing Sophia's incriminating photos as bonus evidence? A daughter's loving gift for her deluded father. When summoned to the office for Robert's sudden hospitalization, I feigned concern while gathering my things. The stage was set. As expected, Ryan wasn't Robert's biological son after all. I anonymously mailed Sophia's affair photos and the paternity test results to Robert. No wonder he nearly had a stroke. Discovering his first love's betrayal and raising another man's child would destroy any arrogant, self-assured man like him. Given his middle-aged health issues like hypertension and diabetes, I wondered how severe this latest episode would be. At the hospital entrance, I spotted my mother arriving late. After my persistent efforts to help her heal and witnessing my father's cruelty firsthand, she'd long since moved on. Her expression showed zero concern as she entered the building. Surprisingly, George, who'd retired from public life years ago, appeared at the hospital. I immediately feigned worry upon seeing him. "Grandpa, is Dad going to be okay?" He gave me an approving nod, likely aware of what landed Robert here. Just his usual ailments. Though I hear the idiot tried claiming some illegitimate son? Why wasn't I consulted? I stifled a laugh. The bastard child had been acknowledged for months. This sudden outrage reeked of performative regret. Memories flooded back of my previous life when Robert shipped me overseas after my overdose. George had known everything yet did nothing. To him, even a legitimate granddaughter mattered less than preserving the Wilson bloodline. Affection flowed freely when convenient, but true priorities always surfaced during crises. Clenching my jaw discreetly, I patted his hand. "I understand, Grandpa. For now." I needed to humor this senile enabler. He remained my incompetent father's primary backer. "Good girl," he crooned, oozing newfound warmth now that I stood as his sole heir. After keeping vigil overnight, George left citing fatigue, leaving me to maintain the charade of filial duty. Then I finally saw her, the delicate flower herself. Robert must have summoned Sophia from abroad before collapsing. 2 bodyguards flanked her as she knelt sobbing by his bed. "I didn't mean to. I swear Ryan's yours." Robert's face purpled with rage, veins bulging as he gasped, "You whore. I spent millions, cheating with gutter trash. And Ryan," he spat the name. "Whose bastard is he really?" Sophia's tear-streaked face lost all its carefully maintained beauty. How could I lie? "Ryan's definitely." The slap echoed before she finished. "Get this trash out," Robert roared. The guards dragged her away mid-protest. Pathetic parasite, no need to confront her directly when destroying her host sufficed. Given Robert's vindictive nature, Sophia's fate concerned me little. Entering the room blank-faced, I offered hollow comfort, "Rest well." Robert glared but swallowed his anger. He'd finally realized I'm his only remaining heir. Soon Ryan got evicted and expelled. Mom and I watched coldly from the staircase as security dumped him onto the curb, a far cry from the privileged heir he'd been in my past life. His hate-filled parting glare chilled me briefly. I focused on academics afterward, graduating valedictorian into the nation's top university, only to find Ethan enrolled there too. Meanwhile, Robert and Lily's marriage deteriorated into empty theatrics. Humiliated by his first love's betrayal, Robert now flaunted mistresses and club-hopping escapades without pretense. I didn't hold back with Robert. After bribing his assistant, I arranged paparazzi to tail him every time he visited his mistress. One or two speculative cheating allegations wouldn't shake the company. But what about dozens? Meanwhile, Mom seemed to have finally seen through his true nature. With my companionship and encouragement, she completely distanced herself from Robert, frequently jetting off abroad with her friends for vacations and parties. Oh, and I even hired 10 young, attractive male escorts of various types to accompany her. Of course, I kept close tabs on Lily and Ryan overseas. Rumor had it Lily had fallen in with a rough crowd abroad, people who frequented shady venues and dabbled in drugs. Sure enough, by the time I started college, news broke of her addiction. Her family had completely abandoned her, and her father kept bringing illegitimate children home, indifferent to her fate. Poetic justice indeed. When private investigators sent photos of her sallow face, dark, circled eyes, and hunched posture while using drugs, I felt conflicted. But despite my caution, disaster struck. One day after class, I hailed a cab to meet friends at the movies. Almost immediately, I sensed something wrong. The driver's silhouette looked familiar, and the route kept diverging. Quietly dialing 911. I feigned ignorance. "Sir, this isn't the right way." He lifted his head, revealing Ryan, now bearded and aged beyond his years. Gone was the handsome young man. My team had reported his situation after the Wilson family reclaimed properties under Robert's name. Sophia initially rented a place with Ryan. But Sophia, accustomed to luxury, quickly sold her designer goods and burned through the cash. A middle-aged woman with no work experience couldn't land decent jobs. After struggling with menial work, she returned to being a wealthy man's mistress. Ryan eventually clashed with her and left. This time, the married man's wife publicly exposed Sophia online, sparking viral outrage. The man dumped her, and with her reputation ruined, Sophia turned to sex work. Ryan's college entrance scores tanked, leaving him jobless. Now he hissed, eyes bloodshot, "If you die, the Wilson fortune's mine. I'm the son, it's rightfully mine. You're just a worthless girl stealing what's mine. You and your mother ruined my parents' love." His delusional rant revealed how Robert and Sophia had warped his worldview, as if affairs and illegitimate children were noble proof of true love, or that being male entitled him to everything. I pretended panic while staying calm, knowing police would track my location through the emergency call. As Ryan drove to an abandoned warehouse, cursing and raising a bat to knock me out, sirens blared. He panicked, pulling a knife. Just as he lunged, Ethan shoved me aside, taking the blade himself. His familiar scent overwhelmed me. Why was Ethan here? Blood soaked his back as I stared, numb. In the hospital waiting room, my thoughts raced. The Howard family arrived swiftly. Ethan's elegant mother seemed ready to confront me, but his father stopped her. I bit my lower lip. Ethan. How could he? I didn't dare dwell on it further. The police came to consult me and the Howard family about mediation, but we all refused and decided to press charges immediately. Attempted murder would likely land him in prison for 7 or 8 years. What kind of job could he possibly find after that without proper education? Thankfully, the doctors confirmed only superficial injuries requiring brief rest. When Ethan regained consciousness, his parents went to see him first. Moments later, Mrs. Howard emerged red-eyed, giving me a complicated look. "Ethan wants to see you." After hesitating, I entered the private hospital room, pale yet still radiating gentleness. He smiled softly. "You came." Nodding, I sat beside him anxiously. "Do you realize how dangerous that was? You just threw yourself in harm's way. Don't feel obligated. I chose this." His jade-like composure remained unshaken. "Pursue your ambitions freely. I'll support whatever path you take." My breath hitched. Had he uncovered my schemes? Yet facing his serene expression, warmth flooded my chest. For the first time since childhood, someone besides Mom offered unconditional support. Words failed me as I awkwardly muttered. Rest well. I'll get you some convalescence porridge. Before fleeing the room. After several days of bedside care, Ethan recovered and life regained normalcy. Grandfather Ben had already stepped back from company leadership due to health issues. Robert squandered his executive position through reckless lifestyle choices and corporate neglect, poor health from indulgence. Numerous affairs weakening his managerial grip. Seizing this opportunity, I'd been strategically placing trusted associates in key positions over the years. When the timing ripened, I leaked everything to media outlets: Ryan's illegitimate child, his attempted murder charges, Robert's serial scandals, and the conglomerate's regulatory violations. The stock plummeted. Any single scandal might have caused minimal damage. But this cascading exposé painted an absurd corporate circus. Collaborating with the Howard family, we aggressively bought shares under discreet fronts. When Robert noticed the stock shift, he tried repurchasing shares at premium prices through intermediaries, unaware I controlled the acquisitions. My refusal came swiftly. Robert remained complacent, believing his majority stake secure. Little did he know my combined shares with Mom's inheritance now rivaled his holdings, with Grandfather Ben's discreet assistance. Visiting the family patriarch, I met his shrewd gaze squarely. I'm every bit as capable. Why shouldn't Bloodright grant me leadership? A slow, approving smile spread across his weathered face. I've sensed your ambition for years. Well done, granddaughter. Historically, he'd accepted Robert's CEO role due to Mom's perceived inadequacy. Now, I became his chosen investment. My planted associates successfully rallied shareholder dissent. At the emergency board meeting, I pushed open the mahogany doors under Robert's stunned glare, taking my seat at the director's table. How laughable decades later. He finally recognized me not as obedient property, but as human rival. I moved to remove Robert as CEO. Let's vote. Color drained from Robert's face as realization struck. The gavel fell. My consolidated shares now commanded majority control. My incompetent father sat trembling, veins bulging as he glared with apoplectic rage long after adjournment, jaw twitching in silent fury. After everyone else had left, only Emma and Robert remained seated. I remembered his previous life where he'd enjoyed fatherly devotion and marital bliss with his delicate flower after their wedding. I simply gazed at him calmly. Father, you've aged. It's time to retire. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? You ungrateful brat. Robert was shaking with rage, his words tumbling out recklessly. You've been eating my food and spending my money. And now you dare stage a coup? TCH. I should have known. To men like him, daughters, especially those not born from his true love, should remain obedient extensions of himself, never daring to aspire to corporate leadership. Even though he's a lecherous, incompetent fool, his greatest love has always been himself. Time to let reality teach him a harsh lesson. Afterwards, while focusing on my studies, I appointed an exceptional professional manager to oversee the company. As for Robert, I'd long since packed up mine and mother's belongings and moved out. The housekeeper later told me he spent his days drunkenly ranting at home. When George came seeking me about the situation, I refused to meet him. I had him transferred to a nursing home. Depositing fixed monthly payments, whether he received proper care or decent meals became none of my concern, so long as he didn't starve on my watch. I doubt Robert ever learned about this. But that spineless man made no move regardless. After Mother returned from a vacation glowing with newfound radiance, she murmured, "Younger men do have their charms, clearly." She discovered the appeal of toy boys after wasting years orbiting Robert. Seeing this finally put my mind at ease. Upon graduating college, I tossed prepared divorce papers at Robert. Over the years, I'd systematically transferred all assets to my name and overhauled the company's leadership. The man cowering before me bore no resemblance to his former self, gray, streaked hair, slumped on the floor like human debris. Sign obediently and the settlement remains valid. Refuse, and I'll sue until you get nothing. His entire body flinched. Years of unemployment and alcoholism had fully revealed his cowardly nature. Without George pulling strings, he was exposed as the empty shell he'd always been. Pathetic. How could I ever have idolized this man in my past life? In the end, Robert signed with trembling hands. The settlement I provided could sustain a comfortable middle-class lifestyle if he avoided reckless spending. After evicting him, I never bothered tracking his whereabouts. Years later, rumors reached me, seduced into gambling debts. The aging fool resorted to manual labor. They say he came begging, but I claimed no recognition. They say he eventually scavenged through trash. Now, sunlight streams through the window where Ethan sits beside me. His smile warm. It seems I can finally begin anew.